shortly. It'll be helpful to have a Chumash Bamidbar, Parshas Nasai, at hand.
Okay.
Because we're going to be learning different opinions about what exactly is included in the Megillah that is written for the Seita.
Okay.
So it will be helpful to have a Chumash Bamidbar around. Okay, says the Mishnah, top of Daf Yud Zayin Amud Aleph. When the Kohen is ready to write the Megillah, from where exactly does the Kohen begin to write the Megillah? So the Tanakama says, you write from Im Leishachav Ish, which you want to have a look at the Chumash, it would be Pasuk Yutes. If you have a look at Pasuk Yutes, Perek Hey Pasuk Yutes, it says V'hishbiya Oisa HaKayin, V'amar El Ha'isha Im Leishachav Ish Oisach. So from the words Im Leishachav Ish Oisach, that is where you write from. V'at Kisat is Tachas Ishech. Then you continue Pasuk Chaf, V'at Kisat is Tachas Ishech. Ve'ena Kesev Ishbiya Kenes Isha. You don't write Pasuk Yud Aleph, beginning of Pasuk Yud Aleph, Ishbiya Kenes Isha B'Shvuas HaOlah, you skip that. The case of Yitin Hashem Eisach L'Olah V'L'Shvua, Uvo Hamayim. So you the second half of Pasuk Chaf Aleph, Yitin Hashem Eisach L'Olah V'L'Shvua is included, and Pasuk Chaf Beis, Uvo Hamayim, Hama'arim Ha'ela B'Me'ayach, Latz Beis Bet, and L'Anpil Yarich is included. Uvo Hamayim, Hama'arim Ha'ela B'Me'ayach, Latz Beis Bet, and L'Anpil Yarich. Ve'ena Kesef V'Amar Isha Amen Amen. The last few words of Pasuk Chaf Beis, V'Amar Isha Amen Amen, you don't write. Rabbi Yasi Eimer. Rabbi Yasi says, Lo Haya Mafsik. You don't make any interruption. So you write the whole lot. You start, I'm assuming that means you start from where we started, and you write straight. Rabbi Yehuda Eimer, Rabbi Yehuda has a and he says, Kol atzmei in the case of Eliyit Hashem Eisach L'Olah V'L'Shvua V'Geim. All you write is what it says at the end of Pasuk Chaf Aleph, Yitna Hashem Eisach L'Olah V'L'Shvua, and then Uvo Hamayim Ham'arim Ha'ela B'Me'ayach V'Geim. And then Pasuk Chaf Beis, where it says the water, these cursed waters, or these waters that bring curse should come enter into your stomach. Latz Beis Beten L'Anpil Yarich, to cause your stomach to explode and cause your thigh to fall. In a case of Amar Isha Amen Amen, so he doesn't write Amar Isha Amen Amen. So it comes out that we have three opinions over here. Rabbi Yasi writes the least. I'm sorry, Rabbi Yehuda writes the last opinion. Rabbi Yehuda writes the least. Rabbi Yasi writes the most. And the Tanakama is some kind of a bit of a pshara between the two shittas of Rabbi Yasi and Rabbi Yehuda. Says the Gemara, what exactly are the svaras hamachlekes over here? Says the Gemara, Bahai Kra Kamifli. The svaras hamachlekes are dependent on how we learn the following pasuk. It says in the pasuk, the kasav es ha'olois ha'ela ha'kayin b'sefer. The kayin should write in the sefer, in the piece of parchment that the kayin is going to write this parsha on. The sefer is the parchment. He should write these curses. So the mayor savar, the mayor Not like this. Reb Meir is the Tanakama, like this. Reb Meir holds olos mamish. When it says olos, the curses, it means the actual curses. Ha-olos. When it says ha-olos, the extra hay, that comes to include not only do you write the klolos, but you also write the klolos that can be inferred from the brachas. And therefore, according to the Tanakama, when it says in Pasuk Yutes, Im loy shachav ish eisech, v'im loy sat is tumatachas ishech, hinaki mimei hamarim ha'ma'adrim ha'ela. Although there's no curses there, Adarabah, he's saying that if you're innocent, then everything will be fine. But it's inferring that if you're not innocent, it won't be fine. That's called klolos haba brachas. So according to the Meir, the extra hay of ha'olos comes to include klolos habayis machmas brachas. Eila, these obviously is a miyut, only none else. Lim'ute klolos shebemishna Torah. This comes to exclude the klolos of chumash dvarim. So we don't have to include, although it says ha'olos, you should write the curse. You might think you're supposed to write the curses from Mishnah Torah that it says in the Teichacha in Chumash Dvarim, all the curses. Rashi brings Yakcha Hashem b'Shachefes. They're also called Allah. Sham Haya b'Shama is Divrei Ha'Allah Hazais. The pasuk describes them as Allah. So you might think that you're supposed to include them as well. Therefore, it says Eila to exclude the Klal Shem Mishnah Torah. Ha'Eila, the extra hey before the word Eila, Lem'uti Tzavais v'Kabbalis, comes to exclude the words which say that, like we said at the beginning of Pasuk Chafala, v'hishbiya keinas ha'isha b'shvuas ha'Allah, or v'amra ha'isha amin amin, that she accepts it. That's called tzavais v'kabbalis. So we don't include tzavais v'kabbalis because the extra hey in ha'ela makes an extra miyut. So Eila comes to be Memayit, the Klal of the Mishnah Torah, and Ha'ela comes to be Memayit, Tzavais v'Kabbalis. Tzavais v'Kabbalis, Amen. Then Rabbi Yosi, and Rabbi Yosi who holds that we don't interrupt at all, so we include the Tzavais v'Kabbalis as well. So that Rabbi Yosi will say, Kulu k'amrit, everything exactly the way you explained it. Es l'rabbeis tzavais v'kabbalis. The es ha'olis ha'ela, the es comes to be marbeh tzavais v'kabbalis as well, and therefore Rabbi Yosi holds loy hayam afsik, that you write straight through, you include the words v'ishbiya keinas ha'isha, and you also include the amra ha'isha amein amein. V'Reb Meir. So the question is, what does a Meir do with the es? From the S, you can learn that you have to include the tzavos v'kabbalah. So what does a Meir do with that? Says the Gemara, esim leidarish. A Meir's shita is that we don't learn halachas from the word S. But Rabbi Yehuda, and Rabbi Yehuda, who holds that you write the minimum, kulu b'miyuti darish lahu. So we had ha'olis, ha'ela. Rabbi Yehuda will learn that the word ha'olis and the word ha'ela, including the hays, are all miyuti. So olos mamish. When it says olos, it means only the curses. Ha-olos, l'mutik, olos, avois, machmas, brachas. When it says ha-olos, it comes to exclude the klolos which are inferred by the brachas. So therefore, according to Rabbi Yehuda, you would not include pasuk yutes at all because that's klolos, avois, machmas, brachas. Eila l'mutik klolos sheba Mishnah Torah. Eila comes to be memayit according to Rabbi Yehuda, the klolos of Sefer Dvarim. Ha'eila l'mutik tzavos v'kabbalos, and ha'eila comes to exclude tzavos v'kabbalos, and therefore, according to Rabbi Yehuda, you have very little left that you actually write. Frag the Gemara. Rabbi Yehuda seems to have a shita. Whenever it says a hey, he learns that it's a miyut. But Reb Meir, when it came to the word ha'alois, he said the hey was a miyut, and the hey was a ribuy, excuse me. When it came to the word ha'alois, he said the hey was a ribuy. And when it came to the word ha'ela, he said the hey was a miyut. So make up your mind, Reb Meir. Why is one hey a ribuy and one hey a miyut? But Reb Meir, ma'ishna hai hey the miyut. Why does Reb Meir see this hay as a ribuy and this hay as a miyut? Hey, the gabe the rebuya. Hey, the gabe the miyuta. Ha-alois, the word alois itself is marbe. So since the word alois is marbe, so ha-alois adds to the ribu. The word eila is a miyut. Therefore, the letter hey, ha-eila, is it makes the miyut even stronger. He said that the mayor doesn't include. The mayor included the klolis habois machmas. The mayor included pasuk yutes, although there's no klolis there. It says va'atki v'im loishach havishaysach v'im loisach istachasisha hinaki yimei hamarim ha'ma'arim ha'elim. Even though there's no klolis there, he still says we included because it's klolis habois machmas brachas, the klolis that can be inferred from the brachas. But it asks, the mayor has a shita when it comes to a tnai, and every tnai has to be tnai b'nei gad b'nei reuven. By b'nei gad b'nei reuven, it stipulates clearly that if you will go ahead and you will be scouts and take and conquer Eretz Yisrael in front of the Yidden, then you will get Eber Hayar. And if you won't, you have to be like tnai b'nei gad b'nei reuven. Other Tanoim disagree with the mayor. They say
that
for the negative.
That referred to as a Tnai Kofel.
Yeah, Tnai Kofel, yeah. So the mayor holds that every Tnai has to be a Tnai Kofel, and the other Tanoim hold no, that you can infer the negative from the positive and vice versa. So being that a mayor doesn't hold from a klal lavat shemei hen, that from the negative you can infer the positive. So why does a mayor hold that klal achmas brachos are included in the parchment? If he doesn't hold up the whole principle of Miklal Lavat Shemei Hen. Klolos Habois Machmas Brachos means pasuk va'atki shachar b'sheisach v'imlei sat estumat achasishach hinaki mimei hamarim hamarim ha'ela. So it only means what it says, that if you didn't do anything wrong, everything's going to be fine.
But right? Then the next pasuk says va'atki sotis tachashach va'iten.
So therefore, we if you want to say something, says Rabbi Meir, you have to say it clear. You have to say if yes, this is what's going to happen, and if not, this is what's going to happen. When you make a tnai, right? And if you only write a half a story, we don't say that from the half that you wrote we can infer the other. So if a pasuk is speaking brachas, doesn't infer klolis habois machmas brachas. So then this pasuk doesn't belong in the parsha Saita. Is that clearer now?
Because you should have written both. Doesn't he write both?
Oh, you need. Let's have a look at Rashi. Okay, let's go through it together. The Shamin, you see the Rashi of Halesle the Meir Kafel. We know that the Meir holds you need a Tnai Kafel. The Tan the Meir Eimer called Tnai she'enik Tnai b'nei Gad b'nei Reuven ain't Tnai. Chtiv bei im yavru v'im lo yavru. Halei kaflei. If you weren't kafel the tnai, you don't say that from the negative you can infer the positive. If it says you're not going to go over, you're not going to get Eretz Yisrael, automatically it means that if you do go over, you will get Eretz Yisrael. What do you have to write it? You don't necessarily have to touch your ois graben finger. Yeah, but so the mayor says no. The mayor says you do have to touch your ois graben finger unless it says befedish. We don't understand what you mean.
Right.
So therefore, when it says in the pasuk, let's take pasuk Yutes for itself.
Yes.
Pasuk Yutes for itself doesn't say any klolos, right? It's only brachas.
In Loishachav, yes. If you have not done anything wrong, then you'll be clean.
Everything will be fine, right? And we don't learn from there that means beremes that if you did something wrong, it's not going to be fine, because the mayor holds that you have to tie choice with graben finger. You can't say I infer from one thing another.
Right.
Right? So therefore, pasuk Yutes, as far as the mayor is concerned, l'chayra doesn't belong over here because it's not part of the klolos. It says because of us ha'olis ha'ela. This is not olis. Olis is only when it says befedish ha'klala.
Ah, okay. Because the klala comes later, clearly in Chafalef.
Yeah.
So the question, okay, why bichlal do we need your test? Okay, thank you.
Doesn't belong over here.
Yeah, I get it. Thank you.
Hold that you don't need a tnai b'nei gad b'nei reuven. That means you hold that word that miklal lavat shemei hen. So then you could say that if it says if you didn't do anything wrong, nothing will happen to you. at the Shemeya, that if you did do something wrong, something will happen to you. Correct? But the mayor holds that we need it. We need every tnai has to be getnai b'nei God b'nei Reuben. The mayor does not hold miklal abat Shemeya hen. So then pasuk Yutas b'chlal doesn't belong here. Amar Rav Tanchum, so Rav Tanchum answered chimki ksiv. When it says hinaki, you can actually read it as chimki. You should choke. So there is a klal over here, merumas, in the word hinaki that it looks like the word chimki. And therefore, the mayor holds that it should be included in the Parsha Soita because of the klala, which is here beremes, in the word hinaki, which can be read chinki. That is Rebbe Kiva darshan, ish v'isha zachu shchina b'neim. If a man and a woman are zeiche, the shchina dwells amongst them. Lei zachu, if they're not zeiche, eishech lasan, a fire will consume them. Amar Rava said, the isha adifa mid the ish. By a woman, this is more of an issue than it is by a man. The idea of eishech lasan is more of an issue by an isha than by a woman than it is by a man. Why? In other words, what's the whole vart over here? The word ish is spelled aleph yud shin, which has the word eish, and in the middle there's a yud. The word isha has the word eish plus a hey. So if you take the yud of ish and the word and the hey of isha, you put them together, you have yudke, you have the Eibish's name. So for ish v'isha are zeiche, the shechina dwells amongst them. That's merumas and the yud and the hey of ish and isha. But if they're not zeiche, so you take out the yud and the hey, you're left with eish. So they're consumed by fire. And by a woman, it's more of a problem than by a man, because a man is called the ish, the aleph yud shin. So the aleph and the shin are not next to each other. But the isha is called aleph shin hey. So the eish is next to each other, which implies that if you're missing the shechina, the problem of being consumed by fire is even greater. Amar Rava said, why did the Torah instruct you to bring earth for a seita? It's a message here. The message is, if she marries, and if she will marry, she'll have a son like Avram Avinu, about whom it says, if she doesn't marry, she'll return to her dust. I guess since we mentioned so we're bringing here the Dash of Rava associated with the pasuk Vanechi Afar Va'efer. So in the merit of the fact that Avraham Avinu said, I am dust and ashes, he expressed his humility. So his children merited 2 mitzvahs, Efer Para, the ashes of the Paraduma, Va'afar Saita, and the earth, the dust of the Saita. There's another mitzvah that you perform with dust, and that is the mitzvah of Kisei Hadam. So what does this mean that in merit of Avraham Avinu saying Anechi Afar Va'efer Yidden Mosechet the 2 mitzvahs, Efer Para and Afar Saita, why don't you also mention Afar Kisei Hadam? And for the Gemara, Hasam Hechsher Mitzvah Ike Hanoa Leke. By the mitzvah of Efer Para, it helps you that you should be able to become tar, even from Tumas Mes. By the mitzvah of Afar Saita, it helps the Saita to be able to become Uteres L'Baylo. She'll drink from the waters of Saita and she will be found innocent. She'll be able to return to her husband, so we'll bring back a family together. But by mitzvahs Kisei Hadam, you use Taka Afar to perform the mitzvah, but you don't gain anything from it. So therefore, to say that as a schar, for Avraham Avinu saying, Vanechi Afar Va'efer, his children were zeichet to the 2 mitzvahs, we choose the kind of mitzvahs that are a benefit to us, not just you can use it to perform a mitzvah. Now, in the reward of the fact that Avraham Avinu said to Melech Sdoim that I won't take even a thread or a shoelace from you, Zachuban of the base mitzvah, so Yidden was zeichet to 2 mitzvahs, Chut shal Tcheles, the thread of Tcheles, or the Tzua shal Tfilin, and the Ritzuas of Tfilin. So I guess Chut is Chut shal Tcheles, and Sreich Naal is the Ritzua of Tfilin. Practically, maybe Ritzua shal Tfilin, I understand what the benefit is. Because it says by Tfilin, it says by Tfilin that all the nations of the world will see that the name of Hashem is called upon you. V'tanya, we learned in Abraisa Rebbe Lezer Agdadol Eimer Elu Tfilin Shabereish. Now, Kishem Hashem Nikra Alecha refers to the Tfilin Shabereish. The Rebbe's gekocht in this Maimer Chazal by the 6-day war. Chut shel Tcheles, Maihi, but the thread of Tcheles, how is that a benefit for you? The Tanya, the Meir would say, why was Tchelis chosen from all different colors? Because Tchelis is similar to the color of the sea. And the sea is similar to the heaven. And the heavens are similar to the Kisei HaKavod. Shenamar, as it says in the Pasuk, by Yiru Asalakei Yisrael, by Matan Torah, it says they saw the God of Yisrael, and under his feet there was the work of a brick of sapphire, the purity of the essence of the heaven. It says in another pasuk, that the image of the Kisei HaKavod is similar to the sight of an Even Sapir. So we see that the Tcheles Rashi says, the fact that the Tcheles has the same color as the Kisei HaKavod comes to teach you that if one is Makabel Mitzvah Tzitzis, one gets to be Makabel Pnei Shechina. So in Mela, it's a tremendous privilege. And that's the teretz that the mitzvah of Tcheles, since it enables you to be Makabel Pnei Shechina, it's a privilege, so it's a reward for Avraham Avinu. Mashenkin, we spoke before about the mitzvah of Kisei Hadam, which you use the earth in the mitzvah of Kisei Hadam to perform the mitzvah, but there's no benefit from it, from the mitzvah itself, and therefore, it's not considered a reward.
Is Tcheles more of a blue or more of a greenish?
I think it's somewhere in between. And I don't consider myself an expert on this.
What does the first pasuk add that we don't have in the second pasuk? Yeah.
That
Rashi explains it well.
Okay, so let's look at the Rashi. Which Rashi?
The last, no, the long one. It's after Kilukim Pnei Shechina. V'hachi Tanya lebesifri.
Hachi Tanya lebesifri. The Shlichu Kol Hani. Yishum le'ashkechem kroi ela berakia. Shadei melekisa. We only have a pasuk to tell us that the rakia is similar to the Kisei HaKavod. Hilchach Tcheles deimel leyam. The yam deimel lerakia. Tcheles leidam lerakia kol kach. Ledaima ledaima. K'mei Tcheles deimel lemari hayam. Aranka chazinen the yam deime lemari harakia. Rakia deime lekisei HaKavod. Kroi kadarish t'chsiv berakia k'maisa livnas hasapir. T'chsiv b'kisei HaKavod k'mari Even Sapir mus kisei. I think the raya from the first pasuk by Yidus lekei Yisrael v'tachas raglav k'maisa livnas hasapir is that the and we'll have to figure it out. Okay, let's go further. Says the Mishnah, "Ain't a case of leil luach v'leil on the yard v'leil diftera." You don't write parsha seita, not on a luach on a board, and not on paper, and not on diftera, which means a piece of hide of an animal that has not been processed. Elul Megillah. You have to write it on parchment. Shenemar b'sefer. In a case of kumus, kankantum, you don't write with various dyes that are called kumus and kankantum. Not anything which leaves a trace. You have to write with something that when you rub it out, there's no trace left. You can only write with ink, because ink, when you rub it out, there's no trace left. It says you have to be able to erase it. It has to be a ksav that is erasable, and the kumus and kankantum leave a trace, and therefore they don't fit the bill. Amar Rava said, Megillah Seita shekasva b'layla psula. A Megillah of a Seita that was written at night is possible. Nighttime, why? Asya Torah Torah. We have Exeter Shabbat Torah Torah. Ksiv hacha v'asal arkenis kol ha-Torah hazais. By Seita it says asal arkenis kol ha-Torah hazais. So we have the word Torah used by Seita. Ksiv hasam al pi ha-Torah sheyiruchav al ha-mishpat. It says about the Sanhedrin, based on the teachings that they will show you, and the judgment. Ma mishpat b'yayim. So just like the judgment of the Sanhedrin of Bezdin is only during the day, af Megillah Seita b'yayim. Megillah Seita can also only be written during the day. So kasval mafreya psula. If you write the Megillah Seita backwards, you write the second pasuk and then later the first pasuk, it's possible. Just like tefillin and mezuzah have to be written in order. You should write these curses. Ki d'chsiva means it has to be written in the same order that it's written in the Sefer Torah. Kasva kedem shet mekabel aleh shvua. If you wrote the Parsha Seita before she was mekabel on herself the shvua, psula, it's possible. Shenamar, because it says v'ishbia v'achar kach mekasa. First it says he has to give her the oath, and then he writes it. Kasva igeres. What happens if you wrote it and igeres means, Rashi says it means belay shirtut. You're supposed to, normally by mezuzah and by Sefer Torah, you scratch out lines and you write guided by those lines. If you write without those lines, it's called an igeres. So if you write the Parsha Seita without the shirtut, it is possible. Basefer Amarachmana, because it says Basefer, and a Sefer Torah needs, halacha l'meishim Sinai, that a Sefer needs shirtut. So therefore, here by Parsha Seita, you also have to write with shirtut. Kasval shnei dapim, if you wrote it on 2 columns, psula, it's possible. Sefer echad Amarachmana v'leish naim shleish svarim. The Torah says 1 Sefer, if you write it on various columns, it's considered 2 or 3 svarim. What happens if you didn't write the whole parsha and then rub it out, but you wrote 1 letter at a time and immediately rubbed it out? The kasav eis achas, and you wrote another letter, machak eis achas, and you rubbed it out. Psula, it's possible. The kain has to do this entire thing, which means that the whole parsha has to be written in its entirety, and only then do you rub it out.